gentlemen, and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome to another Top 10 video. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today, we will be looking at the Top 10 best movies of 2019. Okay, I know, I'm a little late to the party, but that's because I set myself on a mission to try and watch just about every movie I possibly could that was worth seeing throughout 2019 before making this video. And I must note before we really kick things off that this list is subjective. It's my own personal pick. It's not based off ratings. It's not based off a vote or anything like that. These are just my picks for the top 10 best of the year, and they are probably going to be vastly different to yours. Now, before we kick things off, I just have a few honorable mentions that I would like to rally off. These are the movies that didn't quite make the cut for the list, but they are still absolutely worth seeing, and you should definitely check them out. And those are Rocketman, The Farewell, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 1917, Jojo Rabbit, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, The Irishman, and How to Train Your Dragon 3 The Hidden World. So now that we got all that out of the way, let's hop right into things. Coming in at number 10 is Smurfs. I absolutely adored this movie. It is basically what you think it is. It's Superbad, but with girls. Except it's really not just that. This movie packs so much more emotion into it than Superbad ever came close to. Is it as funny as Superbad? Not quite, but it absolutely has the same amount of charm. The leads, being Caitlin Dever and Beanie Feldstein, just completely knock it out of the park. They're so funny and so charismatic, and most of all, they are very genuine. Even the entire supporting cast did a great job as well. It felt like a very real movie. And the fact that this was director Olivia Wilde's debut picture makes this movie even better. It was her first go at it, and she could not have done any better. Coming in at number 9 is Ad Astra. Okay, I already know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this one. This was one of those ones where it was praised by critics, but audiences felt it was very boring. But me, myself, personally, I found this movie to be mesmerizing. That's really the perfect word to sum this one up. It is a slow burn if I ever saw one. But it is a slow burn that is so worth it. This movie is enchanting. The cinematography is superb. The visuals are honestly unbelievable. And Brad Pitt gives a career highlight performance. I know he's getting all of the praise for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as the supporting actor, but I truthfully feel like he deserves just as much, if not even more praise for his leading role in this film. I feel like these trailers kind of misled people. It made a lot of audience members think that they were getting themselves into the next big space adventure epic, or something even along the lines of The Martian or Moon, but that's not what this was. This was a heartfelt and touching journey about an estranged father and son duo. If you haven't seen Ad Astra, just know what you're getting into. And if you are aware of what you are getting into, which is a slow burn film, and you are still interested, then it will be well worth your while. Coming in at number 8, and I can already feel the comments exploding because this one is so high up on the list, and that's Parasite. Don't get me wrong, this movie is excellent in just about every single aspect. From the acting, the cinematography, the dialogue, the story. This movie is so geniusly written. I am so thrilled to see that it is getting so much award recognition from North American audiences. It is a foreign film, and yes, there are subtitles, but it does not take away from the experience whatsoever. I don't even want to say anything about this movie, honestly. I don't even want to show the trailer or anything like that. I went in knowing absolutely nothing, and I feel like the less you know, the better of an experience you're going to have. My advice, watch this movie as soon as you possibly can. Do not read a description, do not watch a trailer, do not ask me or anyone else anything about it. Just watch it. Coming in at number 7 from the Sandman himself of all people, Adam Sandler, is Uncut Gems. Have you ever held your breath for an entire movie? No? Well, you're about to. This movie is intense. Like, once it gets going, once the main plot starts going, you are constantly on the edge of your seat. And the fact that Adam Sandler, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Adam Sandler did not get nominated for Best Actor anywhere for this movie is a crime. I can't believe that he was snubbed so bad for this performance. It was undoubtedly the best of his entire career. The Safdie brothers absolutely crushed this one. And if you haven't seen their previous work, Good Time with Robert Pattinson, that is equally as good and equally as worth checking out. But Uncut Gems, thus far in their short-lived career, is 100% their crowning achievement, and they are going to be hard-pressed to ever surpass this one. Coming in at number 6 is Marriage Story. This movie has the most basic of premises. You are quite literally just watching a couple with one son go through a divorce. But it has its ups and downs. Through brilliant storytelling, it takes you on a roller coaster of emotions. From heartbreak to utter devastation, to uplifting and heartwarming moments. This movie has it all, with possibly the two best performances of the entire year coming from Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver. It's a simple movie, but again, like Booksmart, it feels so genuine and so real, and that's what makes this movie so worth experiencing. It's on Netflix, so it's super easy to go and access, and I implore you to go and watch it. Coming in at number 5 is Dolomite Is My Name. Eddie Murphy is back, people, okay? He is back and better than ever. Seriously, again, another actor on this list giving their best performance of their career. Dolomite Is My Name is a return to form for Eddie Murphy, considering he hasn't done a live-action film in years, and even before that, he hasn't done a good movie in, well, it's been quite some time. But yeah, it's been a while for Murphy. It's been a little bit. But this movie explores the true story. It follows Eddie Murphy portraying Rudy Ray Moore, who, against all odds, went on to make his very own motion picture as his alter ego Dolomite, which went on to become a blaxploitation film phenomenon. It is a journey you should definitely be going on. This is one of the best underdog stories in recent memory. And in typical Eddie Murphy fashion, it is hilarious. Not to mention it also has a stacked cast. It's a true story, it's a comedy, it's an underdog story, it's a drama. It's got all of the necessary ingredients there to be a great film, and it certainly is. Coming in at number 4 is Ford v Ferrari. I just have to say that both leads, being Matt Damon and Christian Bale, utterly destroyed it as these real-life characters. The movie's got everything you would want out of this type of movie. The movie has a super simple premise. It is Ford back in the 60s, 70s, trying to beat Ferrari at a race by creating the fastest car that they possibly can. I know that Christian Bale's getting the majority of the recognition for this movie, but I feel like Matt Damon deserves an equal amount of praise. They carry this movie on their shoulders together, and their performances alone make it worth watching. But with James Mangold's direction, it becomes something truly magical. Whether it's the racing, the build up to the racing, like, I know nothing about cars, but hearing them go on about all of these different parts, seeing them pull cars apart and put them back together, trying new things, testing, it led to an exhilarating film from beginning to end. It clocks in at about 2.5 hours, but it quite literally flies by. If you don't know the real life story behind it, which I didn't, it makes the movie even more worth checking out. So if you haven't seen this one already, rev up your engines and put the pedal to the metal. Coming in at number 3 is Knives Out. This film has now set the bar supremely high for the whodunit subgenre. From Rian Johnson's magnificent directing to his marvelous writing, this movie has his name written all over it. You know why? Because he's an amazing director. That's why. That's just for all the Last Jedi haters out there. But who really shines through here is this undeniably gifted cast. Everyone gives it their all, and it certainly shows. And without a doubt pays off. There is not a single weak link in this entire cast, which is rarely heard of. Pair that with some of the best costume and set design of the year, mix in a few unexpected and superb twists and turns, and you have yourself an unforgettable flick. Coming in at number 2 is Joker. This movie actually managed to crack, after multiple viewings, my top 50 of all time list. I freaking love this movie. I love it. And I know that this movie is not the most original of all time. I know that it's essentially a mix of Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy, but just Joaquin Phoenix's performance, just Hildur Guðnadóttir's score, just the costume design, just the cinematography, just the color scheme, just the way that this story plays out in the world that it's set in. I could really stand here all day talking about this movie. There's a good chance that you will see full videos essays or discussion videos on this movie because there is so much to dissect here. Now I know as of recently a lot of people are turning on this movie due to its unoriginality, but for me it is the obvious choice for runner-up of the year. And coming in at number 1, the absolute best movie of 2019 in my eyes is Avengers Endgame. This is another one that I have nothing left to say. I have praised and praised and praised this movie since it came out. I talk about it probably on a daily basis, honestly. Like, it's become that bad. I guess I could start with the fact that these actors and actresses have been playing these characters for years, some of them even a decade or more. Have perfectly, and I don't throw that word around very lightly, but I do genuinely mean perfectly embodied these comic book characters. They have become synonymous with these roles. There's going to be multiple generations that identify these actors and actresses as these characters. And then there's the build-up, okay? Since the first Iron Man, 2008, to Avengers Endgame in 2019, 11 years of build-up finally pays off. And it pays off in spades. I tried to keep my hype down. I really genuinely did. It didn't work, but I tried. And of course, I was happy to report that not only was it everything I wanted it to be, but it was also so much more. I laughed, I cried, I cheered, I clapped. This is the only time that I've been okay with people making any sort of noise in a movie theater because I was right there with the rest of the fanboys and girls screaming my head off at all of these epic moments. Because this movie truly is epic. Like, now there used to be a few other movies that when you said like epic, you'd think like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, you'd think Avatar. Now when you think epic, you should be thinking Avengers Endgame. Never before in Hollywood has this been done. 11 years of build-up, with however many 20 plus movies building up, so many characters crossing over an entire universe. It has not been done, and it will never be replicated. There's just a few more things I have to say before we leave. Alan Silvestri's score, the visual effects, the fact that it made a 3-hour runtime feel like it was absolutely nothing. It went by like a breeze. I could have taken the 6-hour cut of Avengers Endgame and still been just as happy to sit there and watch it the entire time, multiple times. Anyway, I'm running out of breath. I'm getting lightheaded because I just have to go watch it again. Like, I really now feel like I have to go grab my Blu-ray and watch it again. So, yeah, number 1, Avengers Endgame. So folks, that is all for my list. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end. If you enjoyed the video and you haven't already, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe and click that little bell icon. That way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And be sure to drop a comment. Let me know what you thought about my list and let me know what your top 10 of 2019 are. As always, thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap. Subscribers, assemble.